Donald Trump says Iran is desperate for a deal, is it?
No. Iran has rejected this 15-point plan because it violates Iranian sovereignty. And that's what the revolution in 1979 was all about. It was about sovereignty and independence and dignity and honor. And it was anti-imperialist. And that's why the United States and its allies and proxies hate Iran so much. Iran opposes genocide in Gaza, and that's a sin. You must support genocide in Gaza. But no, Iran is not going to accept anything that will have the slightest, let's say, impact on Iran's sovereignty.
In what way specifically?
And so
if I can ask you, does it reduce sovereignty, or would it? I know it's not a reality, but would it reduce sovereignty?
Iran's nuclear program is in accordance with international law. It has been supervised by the International Atomic Energy Agency for decades. They have reported, they have reported repeatedly that there's no evidence that Iran has ever been seeking a nuclear weapon. Even the United States, its intelligence agencies have admitted that at least since 2003, Iran has not been pursuing a nuclear weapon. And as you saw just a few days ago, Joe Kent, in his resignation letter to Trump, a Trump appointee, said that Iran was no threat, Iran was not developing a nuclear weapon, and this war was because of the Israeli regime and the Zionist lobby in the United States.
So just so people are clear, when because there's all kinds of phrases flying around in this story, aren't there? When you talk about Iran's nuclear program, you're talking about a legitimate, monitored civilian nuclear program.
Of course, that's what it's always been. Contrary to Western media propaganda and Western regime propaganda, it's always been a civilian nuclear program. The International Atomic Energy Agency, until these sites were bombed, they had people in there. They had cameras in there. They had monitors there. But this, of course, drops away in the narrative on Iran because Iran's problem is that it opposes ethno-supremacism, which is a sin. It opposes the extermination of the Palestinian people, another sin. And it opposes the strangulation of Cuba and so on. And that's, of course, makes it a target for empire.
Can I ask you then, given what you've said about Iran's intentions on nuclear, civilian nuclear program only, always has been, can I ask you, will it always be civilian only? Because that's what Donald Trump seems to be saying.
That is what Iran's... That's what Iran has always said.
Oh, that's interesting. So when Donald Trump says they will give up any military nuclear weapon ambitions, is he right? You seem to be saying that's true.
No, that's not true. Iran never had ambitions.
And never will, is my question.
That's what Iran has said always.
Never will.
Of course, that's what Iran has always said. But the United States, the Western media, they will always try to make... I mean, look, the same people who created ISIS and Al-Qaeda, meaning Western intelligence agencies with their local proxies like Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Erdogan and Abdullah and Jordan, these same people who created these monsters, the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency has a document where it said our allies were creating this monster, and that the Obama regime supported it. And this is what General Flynn, who was the head of the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency at the time, said, that we were supporting this policy. And Jake Sullivan, who was Biden's national security advisor, said that when he was working for Hillary Clinton, when she was the Secretary of State, he said in an email on February the 12th, 2012, that in Syria, Al-Qaeda is on our side. This is the same Al-Qaeda who we're told carried out 9/11.
And I have to say, as in my job, and you'll understand it, I hope, Iran has created a few monsters of its own, hasn't it?
We haven't created... No. That's exactly what I wanted to say.
You reject that.
These regimes that created these monsters say Iran supports terrorism. Hezbollah is a national resistance organization. It was created in 1982 as a result of the Israeli occupation of Beirut. In 1982, they invaded the country. There was no Hezbollah then. And then in order to resist the occupation, Hezbollah was born. And it kicked out the regime in the year 2000.
Yeah, but that there would be many who would kick against that and push against that statement from you then.
Well, anyone who
the thing is, I don't particularly want to pursue that area of the conversation because I'm more keen to talk about what potential deal there might be and get you to reflect on the current statements that are being made. Someone in the Iranian regime, it's not always clear who, it says that Donald Trump is talking to himself. America is talking to itself. What does that mean?
I don't think anyone said America is talking to itself. They said Trump, because Trump is just making things up. He says, I'm negotiating with someone in Iran. Every moment he says something new.
Do you accept that Pakistan is offering help with some kind of conversation? Or do you say that's not happening?
No, what happened was that the Americans sent a message through Pakistan to Iran. That's it. I mean, we always have messages. It's been going on for 47 years. That's nothing new. But the message was not anything that was of any value to the Iranians. Iran, in this war, will make sure that it is not attacked again. Because we just had a war, a 12-day war, 9 months ago.
How will it do that?
It will defeat the enemy. It will make the United States pay a price to ensure that it never thinks about attacking Iran again. Ever.
What's in your mind when you say the United States will pay a price? Is it Strait of Hormuz? Is it an economic price? Or
it's everything.
Attacks?
They will. Trump
attacks
will
on
have
American
to
soil?
be. No, Trump will have to be defeated. Remember, this is clear. Just like
easy to say. I'm asking you to give me a sense of what you mean.
The United States, and the Israeli regime, with the help of these local despots in the Persian Gulf, who allowed them to use their territory to attack Iran, they have to be made to recognize that attacking Iran is no longer an option.
How?
We went through it by defeating them, by making them pay a price. Well, they are being bombed. They're being bombed day and night.
I know they are.
The Iranians are bombing their positions day and night. And
so economic and military attacks.
You were being told, and everyone was being told, that Iran would be defeated in a couple of days. After 3-4 days, they said Iranian missiles and drones are running out. They're running out of missiles and drones. There's nothing of this sort happening. The people in the United States are being lied to.
Who is running Iran at the moment? Who leads
the leader? In accordance with the Constitution, is Ayatollah Sayyid Mujtaba Khamenei.
Is he alive?
He's the commander. Of course he is.
Where is he?
He's the commander. He's protected.
It's interesting because one of the most protected men on the planet is the President of the United States. Yet I see him every day on television. He goes to play golf. He socializes in America, highly protected, probably nobody more protected. And yet we still haven't seen the new leader, the new supreme leader of Iran. Why? Leaders need to be visible in war, don't they?
Maybe it's because your country is attacking, your regime is attacking our country.
Our country
Your airports in the UK are used to arm B-52s. Maybe that may have something to do with it. I'm just guessing.
Our government would push back against that and refuse.
They carpet bomb Tehran. I'm sure you've heard. Maybe your audience has. They carpet bomb Tehran.
I'm asking you
because your democracies
and
all that, and you believe in human rights.
I understand you want to.
You bomb our people.
I get it. You want to say what you want to say, but
yeah, I will.
But of course you will. That's why I've invited you on. But what I want to get clear is, in my mind, is surely at a time like this, a leader needs to be visible, and if he's not visible, we saw this with the Soviet Union towards its end. Where was the leader? Was that the real leader? It doesn't look like Brezhnev, doesn't look like so-and-so. What's going on? He can be visible, can't he? And be safe? No?
Actually, I think your country is more like the collapsing Soviet Union.
All right, but could you answer my question as to why he's invisible?
And people here know exactly why he's protected, and they don't want him to be on the streets because they don't want your terrorist regimes to target him. And that's the smart thing to do. And when we defeat the Epstein regime and the Epstein class,
why'd you call it that?
Forced to back them.
Why'd you call it that?
Oh, well, of course, because that's the class that controls your societies. That's the class that engages in war after war after war. Your endless wars, which are making your own people poor and which force people out of desperation to leave their countries and to come to yours.
Well, can I
and
just,
then you have,
all right, let me.
It's your own doing. It's the doing of your own regimes.
All right. Your characterization of our government, let's focus on the UK, if I may, because I'm a UK presenter. Your characterization is so far from what is the truth here. I am currently in a country whose Prime Minister used to be the Director of Public Prosecutions, came from an ordinary working class home, and is now the Prime Minister. We, the voters, put him there. We, the voters, may or may not remove him from there in the next few years. And that process will be repeated. No, let me finish.
No, that's not how it works.
Let me finish. Your country
Please
allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. Allow me to finish, if I may, and I will let you come back, of course. Allow me to finish. Well, they certainly don't own this bit of the media that I'm speaking to you on, so can you and I just keep it civil and speak to each other directly?
I'm not bombing you.
You talk about the moral character of our country and the West. Iran massacred thousands of its own population in January. We don't know the exact figure, but the reports suggest tens of thousands. You laugh, but you know that happened. No, I'm not lying.
Because you're lying. No, you're lying. Yes, you're lying. You're
not
lying.
A single protester was killed.
No, actually, your government helped kill them because your government is a part of a coalition that brings weapons into our countries, brings weapons into Iran. Go and look at the report by the Israeli regime's own Channel 14 News. They said that foreign intelligence agencies brought in the weapons that caused the armed insurrection. I'm not saying it. They're saying it.
Do you know what you've done?
I'm not saying your own Israeli allies are saying it.
So Can I say?
So 3,117 people were killed. They all have their data. Their IDs have all been declared.
Well,
if you have any extra names to add, give them to me, and we'll see if they exist or not. And then these people died as a result of an armed insurrection. In the United States, a woman was moving her car to the right.
I saw it.
And they shot her in the face in the United States and said it was justified because she wasn't turning to the right.
She wasn't sitting. Oh, listen. You're not very good at listening, are you? We had this problem last time.
Yeah, you said you
a
made
conversation
a huge
involves two people. It really does, and
it's an interview.
Sometimes it's a conversation.
Sometimes
people yield to allow the other person to come in on a point they've made. It's like a dance, if you will.
This is your show. You can say it all day. You can badmouth Iran day and night.
I'm not badmouthing Iran. I'm talking to you.
You invited me.
I'm talking to you
so that I can give an alternative perspective.
And you are doing that, and I'm coming in to respond to it. That's fine.
You keep interrupting.
I don't keep interrupting you. I fear when you hear my voice,
hundreds of police officers and officers of the law were murdered, and then you say these are peaceful protesters, and then you just make up numbers, tens of thousands.
Hundreds of police officers were. Oh, you're talking about in Iran.
Yes,
I thought you were talking about America.
Yeah. If 10 police officers were murdered.
All of the you say all of the protesters.
Would you call them peaceful protesters?
You say all of the protesters who were killed in January and February in Iran were armed, and nobody was taken and arrested and raped, and nobody was killed in their hospital bed.
No one was raped.
Total invention.
That's nonsense.
Total invention.
Yeah, that's totally, without a doubt. Yeah.
Who's inventing it? Because the journalists here are responding to reports from Iranians themselves before you had no internet.
Come on.
Oh,
if there was no internet, then how did you know that they were raping prisoners? That is the sort of narrative that you produce to justify war. You know, like the incubators in Kuwait when Saddam invaded, and that your media would say, oh, they threw out the babies from the incubators to justify war. Just like Gaddafi and Viagra. You always do that. That's how it works. In reality, do you know who does the raping? It is the Israelis. And do you know that when they rape people, they don't go to prison? And do you know that in Gaza, they go to hospitals and pull the plugs on incubators? And then you have the audacity to say that Iran does that sort of thing? It's your allies that do that.
Are you...
The allies that you protect.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask you, are you familiar...
This is all projection.
Are you familiar... Well, I was going to come to make a similar claim to you, actually. Are you familiar with the term DAVO? Deny, attack. DAVO. It stands for deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. And almost everything...
Oh, that's exactly what you do.
Well, no,
that's exactly
I was going to say that on the 2 occasions of late in the last few months that I've spoken to you, that's precisely what you do in your conversation.
No.
Anything
that
happens in Iran, I haven't carpet bombed anybody, neither has the UK. I'm asking, I'm saying to you that whenever I ask you, let me speak, please. Whenever I ask you a question...
No, just one moment.
Whenever I ask you a question about what your regime has done, you accuse others of being behind that, let alone what happens in our own countries.
Look, there's no way you can hide this. Your regime, which has nothing to do with the people, your regime is aiding the United States in carpet bombing our country.
Okay.
And as you do that, you try to say that Iran kills tens of thousands of people and rapes people. Why? Because you want to legitimize the rape of a nation.
Well,
you want to legitimize aggression, and that makes you complicit in war crimes.
Okay. Me personally?
Yes.
Okay.
You're a propagandist.
Thank you very much, Professor Mohammed Marandi, professor at the University of Tehran.